And it's far bigger than just buying Bitcoin and selling Bitcoin, or, there's a much bigger aspect in decentralized finance than just purchasing some cryptocurrency.
How you doing there, mate? You good?
I'm not too well today. I've got a bit of a cold, Dave. I'm sort of on Lemsips and things like that,
Oh,
but
well,
I'll
you look all
struggle.
right. Hang on just a sec. Can I catch flu on Zoom? No, we're fine. We're fine.
I think you'll be all right, mate, but I'm struggling a little, but let's see if we can get through it okay.
Sorry to hear that. As
All right.
always, welcome everybody. We appreciate you watching. Please like, share, and subscribe our content because we want to grow this. We want to grow this community to massive proportions. So every little bit of that helps us. Simon, I'm quite excited what we got in store.
Well, I thought we'd have a chat today about traditional finance, decentralized finance, and the differences, where we were, where we're going towards. And within the area of decentralized finance, we have decentralized exchanges and things like liquidity pools, which is a slightly more advanced topic, but I'm going to keep it really, really easy. So it's
Okay.
kind of like just a beginner's guide of what it all is, what it means.
Perfect, thank you. Just to illustrate the level of my understanding of anything in this subject, Si was talking to me about TradFi, and I didn't know what he meant. I had no
Yeah.
clue. So he explained it to me. So I bought him a present. As always, every week is something in the post to you, Simon, and here it is this time. We have to talk about that a little bit, don't we?
Yes. Well, I'm becoming a validator at the moment, and I'm sure as we go through White Mirror a bit more, I will talk more about the process of becoming a blockchain validator and things like that. So it's really exciting for me. So
He's playing it right down. He's proper excited about it
yeah, it's a
in
bit of
in
a,
a hugely
I'm loving
geeky
it.
manner.
Let's dive into the presentation though, Dave. Let me pull it up.
All right, perfect.
Okay, Dave. So a little slice of DeFi, easy mode, right? What does it look like? So I'll stress it. This is going to be straightforward, very easy. And if you're kind of really familiar with DeFi, you might find this a little on the easy side. But quickly, I'm going to talk about some traditional finance and the world as we know it. And then
Uh-huh.
we'll move through to decentralized finance and the DeFi revolution that has been happening, is happening, and will get more and more prevalent as we move forward. I also want to, at the end, have a talk about DEXs, decentralized exchanges, and liquidity pools and what they are and that sort of thing.
Great. I'm glad you're going to explain that because I've got no clue what they are. Brilliant.
Okay, so basically, the New York Stock Exchange, billions of dollars move through traditional finance institutions every day from, say, from the New York Stock Exchange all the way through to the City of London and in every single capital of the world. Because as we know, every city, every economy is built on a foundation of finance. And at the heart of it all, for centuries, your favorite, Dave, the heart of it has been banks.
My absolute favorite. I love them.
The gatekeepers. And
Yeah.
they've always been the sort of the matchmakers or the ones who decide who gets to play the game, all right, and at what price and that sort of thing.
Oh,
This is where decentralized finance comes in. And it's far bigger than just buying Bitcoin and selling Bitcoin, or, there's a much bigger aspect in decentralized finance than just purchasing some cryptocurrency. Um, so effectively, decentralized finance is powered by the blockchain. And there are rules that are encoded directly into the blockchain that are fixed in code. And the main thing here is that, as with all of decentralized, or all of the blockchain, Web3, there's no middleman. It's just you, the blockchain, and other people. It is peer to peer.
yeah. That's what we've
Okay.
learned. We've learned all the way through our episodes that this is a secure network with a lot of people running it and a lot of people who have to agree to any decision.
Yeah,
So it's trustable.
that's right. And the main thing is it's open to everyone. So what we're doing here at the moment is we're sort of imagining, if you're not familiar with it already, a new global financial system where anyone can be a lender, anyone can be a borrower or a market maker, and anyone can earn fees from that process
Yeah.
um, in a business that used to be restricted to traditional finance and the banks. So
Yeah.
that is decentralized finance, and it exists right now. But Dave, I always have to do this, as you know.
Yeah.
Quickly, very quickly, going into the disclaimer that we do each episode. None of this is financial advice. Crypto investments are considered high risk. They can result in total loss of capital. The past is no guide to the future. There are no guarantees of return or profit. You must do your own research. Crypto is largely unregulated in many countries. Tax laws do apply, and you should seek tax advice if necessary. And with that out of the way, let's just carry on straight into it.
Okay.
So, indeed, there are no special laws that are preventing individuals from participating in decentralized finance. For example, right, there's no reason why you can't use a decentralized exchange. You can use the blockchain, you can use the smart contracts on the blockchain. That's all fine. But as per my disclaimer before, regulations do vary in different countries. So you do have to do your own research, of course, and be cautious that you're doing the right thing. But generally, it's all good. And this is a slightly more advanced topic, decentralized exchanges. But anyone can, like I say, trade or swap tokens or provide liquidity. And if they provide liquidity, which we'll talk about in a minute or so, the fees from that liquidity, they go to the people providing liquidity rather than to the banks. And this is the main thing. If because it's peer-to-peer, you've got the people that are acting as the bank and you've got the people that are using the banking services. They're all together. And yeah, so decentralized exchanges, they're 24/7. They're running all the time on the blockchain. It's all the smart contracts. All the code is just running there in the background in this public infrastructure. So what have we got? We've got a lot of different decentralized exchanges. We've got Orca on Solana. We talked a bit about Solana a couple of videos, or was it last video?
Last video.
We've covered Solana. I really like Solana, but we'll talk about specifically this one in a second. But there's loads of DEXs. You've got on Ethereum blockchain, you have Uniswap, which is actually one of the first. I think we covered that in the second video about why are there so many different crypto tokens. That's a good one for people to understand. Why are all these different cryptocurrencies there? What do they all do, and why do we need so many? We covered a lot of that in the second video, and I think we'll do a lot more videos like that as to what the various benefits, pros and cons are for each type of cryptocurrency. But as far as decentralized exchanges go, we've got Uniswap and we've got Osmosis on the Cosmos ecosystem. But there's loads. There's like Sushi Swap, Balancer, Pancake Swap. We've got Serum, Radium on Solana as well. There's just loads of them, and they all do slightly different things. So this is the great thing. I put three up there. They're the logos of those three. And you've got the web addresses, orca.so, app.uniswap.org, app.osmosis.zone. So if you've got one of those, if you've got some of that cryptocurrency and you've got a wallet, that you can go onto those sites and you can connect your wallets and things. So let's have a little bit look at it.
Are they just a quick question? So are these
Yeah.
exactly the same thing as Binance? I mean, we're talking, this is the same thing, right? But Binance is
Well,
specifically for one crypto.
yeah. So Binance is one of the centralized exchanges, the CEX.
Ah, okay.
Now that's a company, right? It's they make profit. And it's the same with Coinbase. They're set up as a traditional company, centralized ownership, shareholders, and that sort of thing. Now,
Okay, understood.
decentralized exchanges are usually run by decentralized autonomous organizations, DAOs, and they mostly exist as a protocol. All it is a set of rules on
Yeah,
the blockchain. So when you're dealing, actually, you're going to orca.so, or you're going to uniswap.org, right? But actually, you're dealing with a protocol, which is a set of rules. It's like the rules of the game encoded into the blockchain. And
okay.
normally, all of these rules are open and transparent in open source code. So anybody can review it, audit the code, see what those protocols actually do, and ensure that they are all fair. And the wonderful thing about the blockchain is those rules can't be changed, right? They're kind of put into a block. The code is inside the blockchain and it doesn't change. With caveats, but we'll talk more about how smart contracts work. But generally, what I want to put across here is they're extremely secure. People can trust them for the reasons that I was just saying. Okay.
Yeah, certainly more than the institutional overreach that we're all experiencing at the moment. 100%.
Well, exactly. And that's all very opaque, right? So we've got no idea what a bank does and what
Yeah,
rules they follow. Whereas with decentralized, well, with any Web3 projects, with any smart contracts, people do review and do audit, and they do know exactly how the protocol works.
there are a lot of
Um,
transparency with this.
Absolutely, it's all about transparency. So
Okay.
Orca is one that I really like. And last time I talked about Solana when we talked about staking, so I thought I'd kind of carry it on in this episode. And Orca is actually on top of Solana. And Solana is great because it's really cheap transaction fees. So if you are actually doing anything on Orca, if you're going to swap tokens on Orca, the actual transaction fees are maybe a penny or a cent, or it's tiny, that part of it.
Yeah.
And I really like Orca as well because it's got a really friendly user interface design.
Okay. That's what we're after. We're after easy to use.
So one of the first things that you might come across if you're looking at Orca, I mean, if you go to orca.so, on the home page, it's the main thing is the swap screen, and it's straightforward. I mean, just even looking at the image there, Dave, right? This is a little bit like you might see in Coinbase trade USDC. That's the stable coin US dollar, the circle stable coin USDC,
Yeah.
which is effectively the same as the dollar in terms of its rate. So one USDC is equal to $1, right?
Yeah. It's
Here
always
you might,
$1. Yeah.
yeah, they're there, they're purely designed to be fixed. So unlike other crypto that might be more volatile, like Bitcoin or Solana, everything else, it's going up and down. This one's
Okay.
staying steady. But of course, it is still a token on the blockchain, USDC, the tokenized equivalent of the dollar, right?
Okay.
And you might have 10 of them and you want to swap them. You want to buy some Solana. So you put your 10 USDC in and it tells you, okay, you're going to get 0.09 Sol. You connect your wallet and you do the swap in another button press. Boom. Dead easy, right?
That's simple.
Yeah.
Amazing. But you have to open an account first.
No, that's the
No,
main
really?
thing. I mean, we're not talking about centralized. Who are you going to open an account with? And I know I'm stressing the point here, but this centralized, you've got all the KYC, you've got all the AML and stuff to go through. Now on the
Right.
blockchain, you don't.
Okay.
So it's just effectively you are dealing with the blockchain. So
Okay.
there's no one going to store your identity because there's no organization. It's just you and the blockchain.
Right.
That comes with pros and cons that we've talked about before. Everyone, again, can't stress it enough. You have to do your own research and work out whether this is right for you. But
Yeah.
But effectively, if you don't want the institutions, you don't have to go through all of that KYC, etc. This is where it's not required.
So literally you can do that and then connect to your wallet.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to move fast forward one frame here, but I've just talked about swapping. That's if you're kind of using it as an exchange and you just want to put one token in, get one token out, off you go.
Yeah.
But you can also be the bank to a certain degree. You can act in the same way, and you can provide liquidity. And that process I'm going to go into in the next few slides. But just here, you can see the user interface. It's like depositing. So I want to deposit some Solana, and I will deposit some USDC into a liquidity pool. And I'm going to provide the liquidity for everybody else who wants to swap. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's got to be this capital base, right? And that's what I'm going to cover in the next couple of slides. So just between these two, you put your values in. I want to deposit X amount of SOL, Y amount of USDC. Here's your total value, deposit. Boom, it puts it into the liquidity pool. And then that opens you a position. It's a bit like you have this position on the blockchain that is your money that is in the liquidity pool, and at any point in time you can get it out, right?
Okay.
So you click the deposit button and off you go. But let me explain on these next few slides what's actually happening, and it might help you to kind of visualize it a bit more.
Yeah.
So this is you, Dave. You've got Solana and USDC in your wallet.
Okay.
And might be in your Solflare wallet that you opened up last time that we talked about, right?
Yeah.
So again, that was in the last video about staking and creating a Solflare wallet. But you've got these two tokens. You've got a bit of both. Maybe it's about the same value. And what you want to do is you want to put it into an Orca liquidity pool because you think you might be able to get some yield, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what you're going to do is you're going to put both of those things, like in the last screen, you deposit them and you put about equal amounts. You don't have to, but it's quite regular for people to put them in even amounts. So you might be putting like $100 worth of USDC, and you
Yeah.
might be putting $100 worth of Solana. So about the same value, these two things, and you put them both in simultaneously, right?
Okay. Understood.
Now, it's important to say I'm talking about a very specific type of liquidity pool because there's all different types. But the one that I'm talking about here is called an AMM, automated market maker. And there's lots of complex maths and things behind it, but you don't need to worry too much about that. I'm just explaining, and any user really doesn't have to worry too much about that the protocol does it all and calculates it all behind the scenes. But let's say you're supplying some liquidity and put them both in. And then Bob comes along and Bob has some Solana, but he wants some USDC, right? He doesn't have any at the moment, but he says, right, I'm going to go along to this liquidity pool and I'm going to put some of my Solana in and I'm going to get out from the same pool the equivalent amount of USDC. And he's done that trade. But it's your liquidity, Dave, that allowed it because what you had done is you put your liquidity into this pool, and 24/7 that's available for people to do this trade. And here's the other thing: you're actually contributing to a liquidity pool. This liquidity pool can, especially the big ones like Solana, USDC, are already there. And lots of people are contributing. Lots of people like you are contributing liquidity into this big pool, right?
Understood.
And then so all the people put in money and all the people come and they do these swaps like Bob.
Yeah.
And for every swap like that, a little bit of SOL comes back as fees to whoever the liquidity provider is, and that's you. So with every little swap, and it's happening in real time, so Bob's done that So see, Bob had his Sol, he swapped it, he got some USDC out, and you got the Solana as fees, just a little bit. And it keeps
Yeah.
happening again and again and again in real time.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so Frank has USDC and he wants Solana. So what he does is he swaps his USDC and he takes some Solana out. And in the process, some USDC fees get paid to you in return for your contribution. So that's
Oh,
the second example. Does that make sense, Dave?
yeah, it makes perfect sense to me. Well, I'm a little bit concerned about Frank and Bob. Are they a couple?
Yeah, potentially.
I'm not
They,
sure.
I don't know why they didn't just trade between themselves, but then again, they may have done. Maybe they're both liquidity providers
Yeah,
as well
a
as
bit of pillow talk. I'm not sure I trust them. But anyway, no, and that's made it really clear. Seriously, mate, mucking about aside, that's made it really, really clear. But what's also coming forward to me is the depth of the blockchain, how many opportunities there are buried within it. And this is what we're trying to find out about and learn, Si. So, this is a really simple demo, I know, but and there's a lot more going on, but that's super clear. I like it. Now, if obviously, if you put a little bit more in, you're going to get a little bit more out, right?
Right. So yeah, the more you put in, it's proportional. There's a yield that it can calculate for you, and it's telling you what it thinks. And this last slide here is just when you're ready to withdraw your liquidity, you can take it out whenever you want. You're totally in control of the funds at all
Right.
times on the blockchain.
Right.
But
So you
indeed,
can,
yeah. So the Orca protocol is really good at well, the website itself will help you work out what your expected yield is. But again, I can't stress this enough. Do your own research. It's not for everybody. Um,
of course, absolutely, of course. So what you're saying is you can either compound and put it back into the liquidity pool, or you can withdraw.
that's a
Okay.
very good point, Dave.
Yeah.
Sometimes some of the decentralized exchanges, they auto compound
Okay.
and they put that money straight back in. I know that Osmosis does that, for example.
Yeah.
Now, Orca is a little bit different in that it's actually, you see a harvestable yield, and that's
Yeah.
kept set in a slightly different area than your
Yeah.
original capital, and you can harvest it whenever you want. If you want to do that once a day, you can take it because it's, and indeed, if you take it, you can manually put it back in as new capital into the liquidity pool. So you could sort of manually compound as
Right.
frequently as you would like. Yeah.
So there you are, a whole new concept, decentralized exchange. Fabulous. Thank you, Simon. Really appreciate the graphics and the time you spend on that. And anyone who's watching, I hope you understood. Any questions in the comments, and please like and subscribe. We really want to build this community. Simon is on his way to becoming a validator as well. And we can do a lot with that as well, as a really friendly, helpful community with Simon there sorting everything out for us with his knowledge. But anyway, thanks a lot.
Thanks very much, Dave.